Hello and welcome to ShameOver, where you can lose the hangover, not the booze. I'm your host, Erica Mallery, and this is a podcast for those interested in moderation and drinking less, and who want to find peace and balance in their consumption. I am on this journey with you, and I am proof that you can drink less without going cold turkey or all out sober. If this sounds good to you, let's get started.
Hey, I'm Erica and welcome back to ShameOver, the Drink Less podcast. Today we are going to be focused on how to actually stick with New Year's resolutions or goals and how you can stay on track. So with that, as we know, every January it's new year, new you, fresh start, next chapter, all these different things, which it's great. It is something that makes you feel good, that gets you excited about something, which I'm all for that. The problem is that research shows that 80 to 90% of resolutions fail drastically, most of which are actually abandoned by February. That's kind of alarming, right? Less than 10% are actually still something that people are doing by the end of the year, which I'm actually shocked that number is as high as it is for a plethora of reasons. But if this makes you cringe, me too, but I know that we've probably all been in the boat of that 80 to 90%, right? I don't know if there's a single resolution that I've ever made come January 1st that I've stuck with by the end of the year. And we are going to discuss today why that is, how you can make sure you don't do that, and what to do instead. So, obviously, our intentions are good. When we set something, we really want it to happen. We're excited about it. The motivation is there. Everyone else is kind of doing it, so the energy is really helpful too. We have that genuine desire for change. So maybe you're thinking about drinking less or losing weight or moving your body more, getting healthier, being more present with your kids, any of these things. If we want it that bad, why does it fall apart? And why is it so easy to get over this so quickly? The truth is, most resolutions don't fail because we're lazy or because we lack discipline, but they fail because we make them too big, or they're too vague, or we're unsupported or disconnected from what we actually want or who we actually are. There's a disconnect between what we want and the reality of the situation. If you want to explore more supportive and sustainable ways that last, this is for you. Most of the resolutions don't last. Again, we're looking at February. If you make it till February, that's kind of a big thing. But there are really three main pitfalls that I have found that makes it so easy for people to just completely ditch their resolution, give up as soon as the first hurdle or bump of the road comes their way. Number one, the goals aren't SMART. Have you heard of a SMART goal? Most of you probably have. Maybe it was in your college days or something, but SMART goals are one of the best things you can do if you actually want to set a goal or make a resolution and see it through. So what SMART means is that they are specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, they're relevant, and they're timely. If any of these 5 pieces are missing, you're probably not going to be very successful with your goal, especially in the long term. So using this method really helps you be successful because it helps you see exactly what success looks like. And from there, you can come up with a game plan on how to get there. So I personally recommend starting with the end in sight and then working backwards from there. So if your SMART goal is, a lot of people, weight loss is a big thing. So if you want to lose 10 pounds by June 1st, we'll say that. 10 pounds, it's specific, it's measurable. I would say 10 pounds by June is definitely attainable, and it's relevant and timely. So something like this makes good sense. If you say, I want to lose 50 pounds by February 1st, okay, more specific, but definitely not attainable, not realistic. If you say, I want to lose weight this year, nothing specific, nothing. You can be measurable with where you're starting out, but that's kind of it. And the timeliness, sure. But again, it needs to hit all 5 of these pieces. So if you're here because drinking is a thing for you, rather than saying, I'm going to drink less this year, understand where you're starting out, and maybe you want to cut back 50% by the end of the year. I would say that's absolutely realistic. If you want to cut 50% by February, you could. I don't know how realistic that's going to be depending on where you're at. But coming up with realistic goals and moving backwards is going to be a lot easier. So let's take this 50% by the end of the year, right? So if you're drinking, we'll say for easy math, because I'm probably going to really screw up the math, but for easy math, let's say you're at 30 drinks a month. 30 drinks a week is probably more realistic for a lot of people. 30 drinks a week, and you want to be at 15, right? Or the CDC is, a lot of the doctors recommend for women 7 to 10 drinks. So we'll say you're at 20 drinks. We want to get you down to 10 drinks, right? So this week, focus on 19 drinks. Next week, focus on 19. If you can pour a little bit out, great. The following week, go to 18 or 19, 18 and a half drinks. Then the following week, stick with that again. Then decrease from there. So each week, we're kind of coming down a little bit. As you're doing this, do you want to be drinking less when you're drinking? Do you want to take more days off? Do you want to do both? How can you make this work? So really working backwards from this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and this is how I'm going to get there. SMART goals allow you to do just that. And when we do it in this very specific, measurable, attainable, realistic way, it's way more likely we're able to stick with it, not only short, but long term. It doesn't wreak havoc on our nervous system trying to do too much, too soon, too big, too quickly, which really sends us into overdrive and can be a lot harder to recover from, especially those who, if you're deeply feeling or highly sensitive like I am. But the big thing here is the saying is true that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So really coming up with what this plan looks like and being specific. The good thing about having more time too is you're going to have spring break in there. You're going to have this come up, this trip, this wedding, this whatever. You can still work that into it and be able to have some flexibility with it. So it's not just like you get one bump of the road, I'm screwed, I fail, and then you just throw it all out the window, right? So really come up with these SMART goals, plan accordingly, and look at your calendar so you can really plan based on what's going on in life, because you need to be able to live your life as you're doing this. Otherwise, again, it's not going to be something that's sustainable long term. And resolutions, goals, all of these things are typically things that you do want for the long term. Keep the long term in mind, and the best way to get there is making smaller changes that you can actually stick with over time. So the number 2 pitfall that I see all the time is lack of support. People try to do this alone. If it's drinking, they don't, there's so much shame around that, thinking that it's a moral issue. It's not. It is absolutely not. I want to tell you that. You don't want judgment from people. You feel guilty. There's regret. There's all these things. I get it. I totally get it. With weight loss, sometimes you don't want people to know like what you weigh or how much body fat you have and all I've been there for all of this. I get it. When I have been the most successful is when I was not doing it alone. Doing it alone is so much harder. You have a one-track mind that sometimes can be great, but a lot of times you're missing all the other feedback that you could be getting. If you look at the top performers in the world, athletes, yes, you probably already know that, but even singers, Taylor Swift, probably Beyonce, Oprah, all of these people have coaches, have therapists, have support that they work with, not just their spouse or their partner, not just their best friend, but someone else that can help give them feedback and guidance and kind of that tough love that we don't need to put our spouse in that position. We don't need that from our best friend, right? Having someone that can really help in those tough moments with that tough love can help so that you're not dealing with the burnout, because the burnout is real. And this is why I see rebound drinking so heavily in January and definitely into February. Get support. It can be an accountability buddy. It can absolutely be a friend or any of that. But having a coach or some kind of community, I absolutely know if it's the right fit, you will see your success skyrocket. It is so imperative, especially for that long-term success, again, that I know that you're looking for. So with that, my biggest thing about having it be someone that, like your spouse, your partner, your friend, one, that's a lot of pressure to put on them. Two, you don't want to change the dynamic of that relationship. And three, they're not going to be able to say or tell you what you need in the moment every time. Most of the time, they probably aren't. But when we really are like super excited, if they had a bad day and they can't be there, be like, yay, I want to celebrate this with you. You get defeated and you get deflated. And then your win, huge win, now all of a sudden doesn't seem important. You need someone that isn't in your close, tight-knit circle to be able to do that for you. So get support, whatever that looks like. But again, coach, community, anything along those lines, I really, really think you're going to find the most success if you go in that direction. And no, it is not near as expensive as you think. A lot of the spaces that you can get this support with, well under $100 a month. And it's not something that you have to invest in forever. Nothing is forever, people. Please understand that. The third, and I'd say probably the biggest pitfall that I see with people not being successful with their goals or resolutions is they're not in alignment with that person. So often, even when I'm working with people with, drinking less, they want to drink less for their health. Okay, why? Well, so-and-so says I'm supposed to be drinking, 7 drinks a week, and I'm way above that. Okay, why? Why does that matter? Why is that important? We all want to be healthy. We all want to feel good. We all want XYZ. We are making decisions all day long that are either putting a vote for if we want to be healthy or if we want that short reward quicker. So if you do want to drink less, come up with something that is realistic for you. If you're at 30 drinks a week right now and you're trying to get down to 7, great. What can you do to make that happen slowly? And maybe you find that 10 or maybe it's 15 drinks a week is where you feel good, where you can actually maintain. That is so much better than being at 30 drinks, right? So focus on that harm reduction and what feels right for you. And once you get to that happy place, then you can look and see, do I want to do more? Do I want to go further? Or am I good right where I'm at for now? Again, nothing is forever. So make sure that whatever goal you're making is for you, not for anyone else. Everyone else can benefit, but it has to be for you. What really matters here is, again, back to the willpower. We rely so heavily on willpower, and willpower is such a limited resource. We think that we have unlimited willpower. We don't. Most of us would probably, if we had to say, our willpower, we have like 8 out of 10. I don't even know why I'm saying, that. But anyway, most of us, our willpower is probably closer to like 3 out of 10. So willpower fades. Motivation also fades. If you are not in alignment with what you want and why you want this, and it means something to you, no one else, not because you've been, conditioned your whole life that this is how it's supposed to be. I see this again all the time with weight. I was the exact same way. I wanted to be a size 6 or weigh 125 pounds or blah, blah, blah. It was just because those were the numbers that I had heard. That's what I had seen. That's what I was conditioned to believe was beautiful or perfect or what I was supposed to be. It had nothing to be with what felt right for me. So once I got rid of that mindset and those numbers and all of that, things changed drastically. Same thing with drinking. I was not at all looking at what everyone else was doing because so many people that I was with, like, our drinking habits were very similar. As it's changed, my drinking habits are different than a lot of people that I'm with. I don't look at what I'm doing and does CDC tell me I'm supposed to do this? Cool. I am doing what I'm doing because it feels right for me. It feels authentic for where I am and what my life looks like right now. So as you're doing this, make sure it is in alignment with you, because you will have the inevitable misstep. You will have the curveballs. You will have many bumps of the road. And the only way to really stay with this is when you know that it is what you want for you. And you also have to get into this mindset of the identity of who this person is. So this person who I'm working to be, I like to say it's your 2.0. So my 2.0 is someone who wakes up early, who loves working out first thing in the morning, who journals every day, who takes time for herself to meditate, to do all these things. When I'm coming up with this person, write it out, really focus on what that looks like, what it feels like. Then as I'm going through the steps, am I acting in alignment with who this person is? If I keep snoozing, no, I want to be this person, but my actions aren't doing anything to make me more like that person. For drinking, If you want to drink less and sleep better and have less stress, be able to be more patient with the kids, I know that's a huge thing. Less anxiety and depression, clearer skin, all of these things. These are all great benefits that you're going to get for it. But in the moment, believe me, I'm going to be more patient with my kids if I have a drink right now because it's going to calm me down as opposed to not having it. Immediate temporary release that you're going to get is going to win every time. So you have to think of, who is this person that I am working towards? Who is this 2.0 that I'm creating? And how can I place a vote into that bucket that my actions are putting me in alignment with that person? So with this, so much of it is the support and accountability, which I know that we already, I brought up earlier, but that really, really does change everything. But on that note, it's being able to find the validation that we need inside, because we absolutely need that support. We need that accountability that helps us, that motivates us. It does all those things. But if we're always looking externally, we're going to fall short almost every time. We've got to look internally for that validation. So that is where your why is so important. I would absolutely recommend writing down, what, if it's your resolution or goal, the 2.0 that you're working towards, and then the why. If you write all this down, you can put it in your phone, you can physically write it down, you can print it out, whatever. Look at it every single day, especially in the morning. You are going to be amazed how far you go with this goal, because it stays top of mind. When you tell your brain, this is who I am, and you basically say it in the present tense, it is going to find ways to make that true, to make you correct. Our brain wants to be right, and that is exactly what it's doing all day long, is it's scanning, trying to find ways that makes that correct. Read this first thing in the morning as soon as you wake up. Your why, your goal, your resolution, why it's important to you, and the identity of your 2.0. That is going to make sure throughout the day that you're taking steps to be more in alignment with those choices over anything else. This also helps to keep your emotional well-being in mind as you're going through it, because if you find yourself burning out, you're not in alignment. You are absolutely not in alignment, and your goals probably weren't smart, I would definitely say. So just doing this is going to help you keep it small, find a win in every single day. That is my absolute number one advice for everyone, regardless of what it is you're working on. Even if you're just trying to be a better person, a better mom, a better whatever, find a win every day. For me, that's just putting my phone down and being present with my kids, even if it's just for a few minutes. That is a win. What can you do each day to get that win that you're looking for? Because that is the momentum that is going to help you keep going. It is going to get you back on track quicker when you do have the missteps or the bumps in the road. And it will help remind you that this is a long-term investment. So when we put our money in the bank, or when you're 401k, you do that knowing that you are not going to take out that money tomorrow. You put in your 401k knowing that you're going to touch it later, right? That it's going to grow, evolve, hopefully be way more when you go to take it out years later. That is the same thing that you're doing now. So keep in mind, this is a long-term investment, and one tiny micro win each day is going to get you that jackpot at, down the road. So what you do now creates your future. As you're going through this, tracking. You do not know how far you've come if you're not tracking. And you don't need to be tracking forever. I personally am not a tracker. I was in the very beginning, and it was huge for me early on, but I don't feel the need to do that now with, certain goals. New goals, absolutely, completely different story. But for drinking, that's not something I need to do, because it's not something that I need to track any longer. But had I not tracked in the beginning, I would not, one, have been able to see my progress, and two, it would have been too easy to just completely fall off and be like, I'm good. My favorite thing to do, piggy banking. So I basically just got this I had a different base, but now I just keep them here. Amazon, you can get whatever, just these little gems, if you will. And each day that I wouldn't have a drink, I would put one of these in my jar. The first month, I think I had 2 or 3. So not something to be like overly excited about. I remember looking at it and I wanted to cry. I'm just like, wow, I only got 2 or 3, whatever, days where I didn't drink this month. And my husband helped me remember. But those were days that you could have not only had a drink, but could have had a lot of drinks, right? So those 2 or 3 built on one another. The next month, way more. And then eventually this whole thing was full. And this was every single time I showed up for myself, every single time I chose me, every time I chose not drinking over drinking. If you do this, make it work for you. You can have it every time that you stay within your goal or less. You can do like I did and have it for dry days. For me, I knew I needed to get more dry days in, that would help me build the momentum. So what is it that's going to help you? And focus on the growth. Because when I would have a bad day, I would look at this and be like, yesterday was not my best, but look at how many days I chose me instead. This helps with the momentum and helps you see your progress over time. I used a drinking app now it's called Sunnyside, but originally it was Cutback Coach when I was using it. And it was amazing early on. And one of my favorite things, how I was able to see my 90% reduction, was because I tracked on there. I was able to see how much I had been drinking. And this was when I had the 90% reductions from when I had already been doing Cutback Coach for quite a while. It's drastically more than that. But again, I would not have been able to know even where I was starting out or see how far I'd come if I hadn't tracked early on. So make sure that you're tracking and coming up with something, some kind of reward chart or something that is growth oriented. Because when we're focused on the growth, that positive mindset keeps us more in alignment with what we're trying to do. It is when, if I were to be like, oh, well, I drank, so I have to take one out. If I see it decrease, that's not going to be motivating to me, right? You're not going to see the growth. Our brains need to see the growth. So keep it positive, whatever you decide to do with tracking, and find a win every single day. All right. So final reminders as you are going through this. If you do nothing else, look at your goal, your resolution, your whatever every single morning. And if you can throw in gratitude with it, you're going to be so far ahead of the game. Just because, again, this brain, the neural pathways you're creating, your brain wants to be correct. If you're starting your day with gratitude every day, your brain is going to be scanning, looking for things to be grateful for throughout the day. If you want to be successful with your goal, read your goal every day in the morning. It is going to be finding ways throughout the day to help you be successful and in alignment with that goal. So making sure that you are doing that every day is going to be incredibly powerful for you. And remembering that just one small win every day is going to get you so much farther than taking a giant leap randomly here and there. So if you are setting a New Year's resolution, if you are setting a goal or just trying to use this approach to the new year as a way to do something different, just remember that the reason why most people fail at this is because they tried to do too much, too fast. They didn't have clarity. The shame was there, or they lacked compassion. So if you want the sustainable change, the long term that you're looking for, it's not about going harder. It's actually about going smaller, about getting specific and staying connected to the why behind the goal. So focus on that one small win every day, and those micro choices that you're making are going to add up in ways that you cannot see in the moment, but are going to compound over time, just like that interest does. So please, please, please stay curious, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and remember that your progress is not linear. A year from now, you are going to be so amazed by how far your small, very intentional steps took you, as opposed to making these huge big goals that you never stuck with, and then you're just angry at yourself setting the same likely goal next year. So with that, if you are considering dry or dryish January, please, please, please feel free to check out the link and join us. I would absolutely love to be on this journey with you. but it's really just ways to make sure that you are approaching this new goal that you're setting in a realistic way, in a smart way that will have you proud of yourself here on out, instead of dealing with the shame, the rebound drinking, the detox retox loop, all of those things. So with that, wishing you a very happy new year and cheers.
Okay, real quick before you go, if you are thinking about doing dry January or something along those lines, I need you to hear this. Most people don't fail because they lack willpower. They fail because they do it the hard way. White knuckling, zero support, zero plan. But no, not here, not this year. That's why I created Dry-ish January, so you can drink less without the all or nothing pressure and actually feel good doing it. Head to shameover.me for the link and come do this differently with me this year. ShameOver is the mindful drinking program designed for women who desire to drink less without losing the booze completely. If you want to transform your relationship with alcohol and live a healthier, confident, and balanced life, go to shameover.me and get started today. You deserve it, you're worth it, your future self thanks you. Cheers!